Well, hello. Welcome to Wenzel's World again. Let's make a Bible cover. So here's what we do. The first thing we got to do is get us out some leather. So here's a piece we're going to try to use right here. Okay, and I think this right here will work just fine. That's a nice soft piece of leather. Gonna be doing some carving in this one. So first thing we do then is get us a piece of leather. This leather here, it's about a 4 to 5 ounce leather. Now that's how they go about, when it comes to wood, why you're measuring things by 3/8 or 1/2 inch, 3/4 an inch. Well, they don't do that, although you can get down with the measurements and get 1/8 of an inch piece. And with the way they do with leather, they talk about weight. So this right here is going to be a 4 to 5 ounce piece of veg tan leather. What is veg tan? Well, it means in the tannery, they tanned it with some type of vegetable deal. Okay, now I don't know what the word is right there, so I have to use the word deal. So it's vegetable tanned. Okay, the ingredients were something from vegetation. So that's what this piece here is. And it's cowhide, in case you're wondering about that too. So anyway, and since it's veg tanned leather, that means it can be tooled. That means you can put impressions on it, you can carve it, and things like that. All right, so the next thing we got to do then is get the measurements on it. And the man that wants it made then, he's measured his Bible cover. Of course, I've got on the YouTube channel the old cell phone that I had that I made everything on. The first video I ever made was how to go about measuring a Bible for a customized leather cover. And you can find that on YouTube. It's had well over 1,000 views, so it's on there enough where you can find it very easily if you need to. And so he's done measured his Bible, and he said that his Bible measured 17 inches and 1/8 by 10 1/2 inches. And the way he described it, because I quizzed him about it, the way he described it, it's soft leather cover. So that means to me then that I've got to make it quite a bit bigger than what he measured, so that one side will slide up and down the sleeve. You'll understand what I mean when we get into that. So then instead of doing this 17 1/8, which would never work, we'll do something other like 18 1/4, 18 1/2, or something like that. And then we'll do the other part. We'll do something like 11 inches or so, 11 1/8 or something like that. So then the way I do it, of course, this piece here, the only squared up piece, side edge, is right up through here. So we'll use that edge to measure from. So what I want to do then is find me a side over here, an inside that looks good enough to use. That's pretty thin right there. So I'll probably just cut that off, and I'll start over here then on this side since it's a little bit thicker. Okay, so the next thing I need to do then is find me a square. Get it all squared up. Take this square right here, and of course we'll put the long on the long, and then come over here and get just as much as we can out of this cover. Okay, got that looking good. Okay, now then, just take my knife. I hope I got a good sharp blade in here. I've been out trying to finish up the trapping. this week. I pulled all the traps today. So this week I just caught a squirrel, which was unintentional. Something come along and eat a little of that. And I think 2 possums, so that got rid of the nest raiders. So I've been busy with that. So can't remember whether I had a good sharp blade in this knife or not. Now the way I go about doing it, you don't want to cut right with the point. You want to lay it down and get as much as that blade on that leather as you can. And I make me a light stroke because I'm going to do it more than one time. So I make me a light stroke down through the holding this square with my fingers, my hand, and my arm, forearm. Now I'm slicing a little bit deeper. That should have it scored good enough. Now I'm gonna mash real hard. Come down through there. And I don't think this is a sharp blade, so I'll put this knife away. I thought I'd change blades in one of these knives. Like I say, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since I've done this last. Can't remember which blades are sharp. Now this piece right here, a lot of folks would just throw that away. Oh no, don't throw that away. You can use that for something else. You say, what do you use that for? Key fobs, watch bands, maybe a cell phone case. You don't ever know what you might use it for, so I won't throw that away. We'll put that in the scrap pile. When I need a piece of that thickness, and if it's that big, then I'll have just what the doctor ordered, the old saying goes. All right, now then, we got two edges now that we can measure from. So the next thing I do, and I don't use a measure from this, I just never have. But anyway, I'll use it sometimes. I come over here and I'll get this here 1 foot long ruler right here. It's got a little bitty old metal edge right in there. It's good for that knife blade to slice to beside. All right, so we said something other. He said it was 10.5 inches. And remember, we got to get that there, his Bible cover, his cover that's made onto his Bible, he's got the slide up in there a little bit, so we got to make it bigger. So if it's 10.5, and we need 1/8 of an inch on each up above that, so that's 1/4, okay. And then we've got to have some sliding room, which might as well be another 1/4, so that's 1/2. So we need to do something other like 11. Probably just need to do that 11.1/8. Okay, so we'll come over here and we find 11.1/8, and that's right there. And then I'll just take me a ink pen, pencil. Usually I can't see the knife blade if I use it. I just put my little old dot right there, just like that. And I know that's where I gotta cut. Okay, now then, the next thing I need to try to do is get the length on it. Okay, that's gonna be, he said 17.1/8, and we said we need plenty of room. So you're lacing, you gotta have 1/8 of an inch, so that's 1/4. Okay, so that's gonna be, that's 3/8. Okay, that's 17 3/8, and then you gotta have some wiggle room. 17 3/8. Okay, let's see. So we might as well do something other like we said there. Something other like 18 1/4, 18.5, just whichever notion strikes me. We just want to make sure it's big enough. And I'll tell you something too, these leather covers that I make here, sometimes people, to change Bibles. Now if you get a smaller Bible, which you probably won't, but if you get a bigger Bible, then they're gonna need more room. So that's another advantage of making it a little bit too big. Of course, with this one here, with that leather, soft leather cover he's got, we've got to make it bigger so that his Bible cover will slide. Okay, so we said something like 18 and a quarter, 18 and a half. I'm gonna use this here thing here to measure with. Best I remember, that starts at an inch right there. That is correct. Okay, so if we do 18 and a quarter, that's gonna be right there. 18 and a quarter. Well, we just come over here and make it something like that right there, 18 and a half, back up one, and do it right there. Okay. 18 and a half, and back up one. Okay, it's gonna be something like 18 and a half, back up one will be, I think that's it right there. All right. Now, I'm gonna take this here. I got another thing here. There was what we're looking for right here. Sometimes I use this thing, these see-through rulers. It's good about, well, being able to see through. So let me see through that and see what it looks like one more time, because I have been guilty of cutting one thing a little too long, and then of course it don't fold right. If we try to catch it before we get into that 18 and a half. Okay, 18 and a half would be right there. No, that ain't right somehow or another. Something other like needs to go. Okay, see, that's the reason I'm using this. It didn't hit it just right. Let me try it back down here. I want to make sure we get it cut squarely. Okay, right there. 18 and a half. Okay, it's going to be right there. All right, now we put a mark right here. Now, I'm glad I did that. Nothing wrong with remeasuring yourself. I've been wrong before. Probably wrong again. Hey. All right, now I got two marks there. Let me make sure I do the right one. Hey. You get to see everything I do. I usually do this in silence. And the only thing you hear probably is the noise from the traffic. We used to not have any traffic when I first bought this farm. We was on a dead end road and there wasn't no traffic. But they moved the road out here back behind the house. Built a new road. And so anyway, it's got its advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantages is every thief can come by and see what you got. And the advantage is I got a big old sign out there on the smokehouse saying customized leather. The word leather is in big letters. Customized leather. So I've had people see the sign, stop in and say, so what do you do? Or what do you have? Thinking this is a store or something or other. But anyway, now here's the other end piece. Now see, that's pretty good size right there. See, you can get cell phone cases out of that. All just a number of things. You can take and double that, cut it and make coasters with it. And just, of course, it's pretty thin. You have to take and cut them and then glue them together. And you could make some coasters out of that. I've got some of them made up over there. So we'll put this over here in the scrap pile. We'll find a use for it one of these days. Now I need to come over here then on my jibber jabber, and I forgot what we measured this. Good thing I got a mark on it. That right there. That's okay, 11 and an eighth. Now I need to come down here on this end. 11 inches and 1/8. Okay, I need something to mark with. Look at that again. That's 11. That's an eighth. Mark it right there. Okay. All right. Now, I just take this plastic thing right here. It don't slide as good as a piece of metal when you slide the knife blade beside it. But anyway, All right, now we got that. Get that right there on that mark. Get that on that mark. Now hopefully, what I'll do, I'll hold this part right in here down, and I'll just score it, and I'll hit it a little bit harder, and I'll come on down. Make sure it's still on my marks. Okay. All right. And come on down. You see, I'm holding it down and cutting right beside of my hold. Okay. All right. Still on the mark. Still on the mark. Now we'll come down through here. Score a little. Cut it a little deeper. See what all this cut through. Okay, we gotta cut a little more there. Come down here. Okay, all right. Now, well, see, that's what's left over right there. And again, watch bands. Oh, I don't know. And I'll tell you something else I've done these little, of course, I ain't long enough there, but, you know, hat bands. I've made some hat bands to go on my hats. And, oh, I don't know, first one thing to another. Dog collar. You don't ever know what you might need it for, so I don't throw it away. I got a bunch of stuff over here. I probably got some stuff from when I first started this over there. Probably, I don't know. All right, now there's our piece that we're gonna be working with. Okay, so the Bible cover will go in this right here. Now the way I go about doing this, 16 minutes. Well, we won't do much long. I'm gonna do this in parts. Okay, so you won't have to look so long about it and everything. But in case anybody's interested, this is how I go about doing it. And if somebody wanted to know how to go about doing it, I've thought about trying to offer lessons to people in the area. If there's anybody around that want to take some lessons, and just let me supply the leather and the equipment and stuff like that, and just charge them, you know, something like, I don't know, $10 an hour, and work a couple 3 hours. I mean, you know, $20 to $30, that ain't too much to have hands-on learning. So you get to learn for nothing. But anyway, let that be as it may. So the next thing I gotta do is round off these corners. Now I'll tell you the way I go about doing it. I wish I had a little old corner punch. That's the next thing I'm probably going to invest in. But since I don't, I just take a penny and put that over here where it's on the up to the corner. Of course, now if you don't know what I'm talking about, it don't go up to the corner. It only goes where the side of the penny is up to the side, and then I take and cut that corner of that leather off, and that rounds it. And that's how I go about rounding them off. I just take a penny, put it down there, and since that blade's dull, I just use it. And then I just cut me some places right there. All right, that got that. Now I come to the other corner, and then I go around there, put a slice there, put a slice there. Here slice, there slice, everywhere slice, slice. Come down to the other corner. Okay, we do that. Slice that right there. That's got that corner, and then we'll come down here to the other corner, which is the last one. Slice that. Slice that. Okay, now that's got our corners all rounded off right there. Now the next thing I got to do, you got to try to think ahead a little bit. I've made so many of these, well over 100. I don't know how many. I should have kept up with how many I've made, and I've never timed myself how long it takes to do this either. So this is the closest I've ever done. And so far it's 19 minutes. So the next thing you got to do is take a groover. And that's going to be this thing right here. That is a groover. Gonna cut a little groove around the close to the edge of this cover, and of course you can turn that, loosen it up, and you can make it where you can go in or out with it like it right there. So we need to find about where it needs to be, something maybe about like that, and then I get me a piece of this scrap leather and do some testing. Hey, let's see that piece right there work. Take just a piece of scrap leather and see what it looks like. Okay. I tell you what, I might open that up just a tad bit more. Something like that. Now let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah. Okay. See what that did, whether you can see that or not, it put a little old groove in that right down through there. And that's what we got to go by when we start chiseling our holes into it to lace it. So we'll be doing the double loop stitch with calf leather lace. So it looks like a rope all the way around the edge of it. A double loop stitch. It's gonna be this right here. That is a double loop stitch. That's a wallet. Okay. And this lacing that's done around here is what is known as the double loop stitch. And we'll do that all the way around this Bible cover. Okay. So then we'll take then, when I get through this, well, I'll turn it off and then so forth. All right. Let's see, we'll come over here and do a little grooving. So it feels like it's sharp. You can sharpen these groovers, but I believe it's already sharp enough. Get a little old string. I don't even see that or not. Get a little old string comes up out of there, because you're actually cutting down below the surface. This scores it in it, puts your groove line in it. If we were sewing it, and of course you've seen on YouTube, I've got video about sewing. I think I got two, one from that old cell phone that I had with a different channel, same name, but I can't go to it to get anything done. Okay. Oh, there goes strings. And you just go right around the corner of it. Come right up through there. Whoop, now you be still now. All right, down to that corner. Like that right there. Okay, now the next thing I do, since I'm going to be carving this and putting impressions and things on it, that means I got to dampen this to be able to do that work to it. Now, in order to do that, before you do that damping and the tooling work to it, then you got to put something on the back of it. They recommend taking something like a piece of cardboard and gluing it. Well, that works, and just letting the glue dry, and then do all your tool work. Because what happened when you dampen this leather, okay, it's going to be, if you were to stick this piece of leather down in a bucket of water and hold it down there for, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, it would be like almost like a rag. I mean, it wouldn't be like that at all. I mean, it would just droop over, and it just be, okay. Whenever you take a piece of leather and you do that, you dampen it, then if you don't have it stabilized with a glue back something to it, then what's going to happen then, it's just going to wiggle, wobble, and it ain't going to, like what words you print on it, it's going to be every which way, and everything. So in order to keep it straight where it looks like it's supposed to look, And to keep it straight, then the way I go back, instead of gluing that piece of cardboard on the back of it, because when you start gluing that cardboard on the back of it, you got to tear it off. And when you do, you get all these little old cardboard pieces all over the back of that leather. So then the way I go about getting around that, but to keep this thing firm, is shelving paper. So I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to put this shelving paper down here. And then I'm going to cut a piece of it off, and then I'm going to pull this back off of this shelving paper, and then what'll be on the back of it will be sticky. And it'll stick then to the back of this leather right here, this flesh side. Okay, this is your grain side we're working with. That's your flesh side, the other side. And I'll mash it to the back of this flesh side, and then I can dampen it and start my tool work. And that way then it won't be getting all, out of sorts when we start doing our tooling to it. So I'll end this now, and we'll pick up on it some other time. See you later.